rotate, everything is producing at least hail at this time. And again, deeper on through the night, we talked about this earlier, the low level jet, the winds in the lower levels of the atmosphere are going to pick up as we get closer to sunset. That often enhances tornado development. So deeper on through the night, we actually may see a greater threat for tornadic activity. Again, we hope that doesn't happen, and so far we have not had any confirmed reports of tornadoes, and we hope that remains the case. But we've got to watch everything. Again, as I mentioned, Tyler, we're watching everything that's forming, but again, the cold front still west of Little Rock. Yeah. And we've got many cells popping up out ahead of that. Yep. We have to watch.
Jake, I want to jump in real quick. New tornado warning.
Okay.
Actually, real quick.
Confirmed tornado near.
There's that one, and there's a new tornado warning in Panola County.
Okay.
Confirmed tornado near Madison. Jake, if you would pull near Madison County, near Mercer, Tennessee. Jake, if you'd pull that up, I want to get you the information on this new tornado warning that just came out in northeastern Panola County. Let me turn off the radar for a second so you can see exactly where this is. So here's Sardis, Como. This extends all the way north, almost to the Tennessee Mississippi County line. Holly Springs, you're included in this. They're downstreaming these warnings as far as they can because of how fast these cells are moving. I'm going to pull up a speed. Doesn't really matter because, again, everything's moving so fast. Give me 1 second here, Jake, just to pull that up. Speed is going to be 55 miles per hour off to the north and east. We'll go back to our reflectivity for a second. All right, so it's this cell right here, just east of Sardis. You're in Sardis near the interstate. You're not really under a threat. This is going to be right over like Sardis Lake, moving northeast again at 55. I'm going to draw our storm track out, give you some arrival times all the way up to Holly Springs, and from there we'll do more storm tracks as it goes downstream. But Mariana 451, Holly Springs 502. So it is 422 now. So about 40 minutes. Long time to watch this one if you're in Holly Springs. However, a significant storm. We've talked about the environment today that we have. We're going to watch this closely as it moves northeast. But if you're in Holly Springs in particular, watch this one closely for the next 40 minutes. Aiken, you're included in this. Chulahoma 445. Aiken's arrival time is 438. Glenville there, which is like right in here, far northeastern Panola County. This does kind of clip. The warning itself does include far northwestern Lafayette County. Let's get in close for a second and see what else is in that area. Let's focus again on the immediate threat areas right along Highway 310. So here's Glenville, which we just had. Here's Harmontown and Techville. Anywhere in kind of this tri-county area, this is where this cell is going to be moving over. Let me expand out just a moment. There is rotation in this hook right in here on this cell rolling through northeastern Panola County. I know this is not a threat for Oxford, but it does include far northwestern Lafayette County, kind of on this track. Let's look at the velocity data for just a second. And then because that warning is confirmed in Madison County, we're definitely going to get a report from Jake on that in just a second. There's some definite rotation here. This is not something to ignore for sure. Headed towards Glenville, Harmontown, and Techville. This whole kind of spot, anywhere along Highway 310, if you're in northwestern Lafayette County or far northeastern Panola County, this is going to be on top of you in just a couple of minutes. So I need you to be in your safe spot now along Highway 310 in northwestern Lafayette County and northeastern Panola County. From there, it's going to move up into Marshall County, and we can start tracking spots for Holly Springs and south and west of there. Potts Camp potentially. Is Potts Camp even in the warning? Let's pop it back up. No, Potts Camp, you're not in the warning. It's off to your north and west. Again, does include Holly Springs and goes all the way up to the state line. So let's watch it in the short term, kind of get into those spots. It'll cross far southeastern Tate County potentially, and then get into Marshall County, and then we'll start really focusing on Holly Springs. For now in Holly Springs, again, it's about 35 minutes away from you, give or take a couple of minutes. So we'll watch that closely. Jake, I'll keep an eye on this one. If you would run us through what's going on in Madison County with that confirmed tornado.
So we've had a confirmed tornado, at least at one point on radar in Madison County. So that was near Mercer, Tennessee. It's moving northeast at 50. So that's going to put it in Neely by 4, basically right now. West over 431 in the city of Jackson in the next 10 minutes. So if you are in Jackson, you need to be getting to your safe spot right now. I will say from analyzing the data right now, I think the tornado has actually lifted. I think there was a brief touchdown. I don't think we have a tornado on the ground at this time, but these are cycling storms, and in fact the rotation looks like it's increasing a little bit. So if you're in Jackson, Tennessee, safe spot right now, lowest level of your home, away from windows. Again, you want to get into a sturdy structure, and that rotation, couple it, that potential for a tornado will be in the city of Jackson. We're talking the middle of Jackson. So really shave off a couple minutes from that. It will be there in about 5 minutes. So you need to get in your tornado safe spot right now. Gilmore 439, Law, that community there 453, Hickory Flat at 457. Again, we're looking for the greens and the reds to come close together. That's happening near the community of Neely, and this is going to be in Jackson within minutes. So this has been, at least at some point, a confirmed tornado that has done damage. So we need you in Jackson to get into your safe spot at this time. Tyler, if you want to watch this with me, so here's the debris tracker. And again, if you look a few minutes ago when that warning went out, you see a little pop down there.
Yeah, yep.
That's where I think it touched down. But then if as we go forward in time, it kind of diminished. So I don't think this is on the ground anymore. I mean, maybe a little something there, but hopefully this is lifted.
Yep.
But as you see, it's taking that northeasterly track. So long story short, this is going to be in Jackson in minutes, and you don't want to take your chances with this. So if you're in the city of Jackson, safe spot right now, tornado safe spot, lowest level of your house, center of a room right now.
Perfect. Let's pull up meteorologist Max Claypool's shot. Max is on the tornado-warned cell, or getting close to it, that is in northeastern Panola County. That's what you see in your box there. Guys, can we bring in Max for a second? I want to kind of ask him some questions, have a discussion on the storm. So, Max, if you could let me know specifically what road you're on, where you are. Are you east of the interstate, and what direction are we looking right now?
Yeah, so we're on Highway 3, just to the south of Crenshaw. We're looking up to the northeast. So basically what we're looking at here is a little wall cloud. That's sort of a lowering underneath the updraft base, and then also some clouds being sucked up into it, as you can see sort of on the horizon there. So, you know, the storms in this area have been rotating. I mean, the one just off to the east of us has at least a tornado warning on it. And this one is still producing a lot of lightning. I mean, we've seen a lot of cloud-to-ground strikes. So, you know, this storm could strengthen. Even though right now it's not the strongest storm, it could strengthen here pretty rapidly.
Max, at some point here, let's make a decision to either abandon that one, because I was misinformed about what storm you're on. I know you're still near Crenshaw, so you're on that little cell there. At some point, let's make a decision to huff it east there over towards Como and come in behind the tornado-warned cell, just because of how that structure's looking, and it potentially heading towards Holly Springs. We may be able to follow it up that way. So you're the expert there in Storm Tracker 3, so you make the call on which storm to kind of go after, because that one does have some rotation, but we obviously have the tornado warning ongoing over towards east of Como, heading up into Marshall County soon. So we appreciate that report. Obviously some ominous looking sky there towards Crenshaw. We'll keep an eye on that cell that Max was on. Back to the tornado warned cell that is again in northeastern Panola County, east of Como, along Highway 310. Again, where Max was on the other side of the county, over here towards Crenshaw, looking at this cell, which also does have some rotation but is not tornado warned right now. The rotation on the area that is warned near Glenville now. Let's see what the velocity data looks like. There's definitely some rotation there. We'll run it back just to scan. So again, what we're looking at here is inbound velocity, inbound speed, inbound winds this way towards the radar site, reddish colors, wind moving away from the radar site, gives us that spin, that rotation in the atmosphere. This was a little bit tighter last scan, tighter in the sense that it looked a little more impressive in terms of some potential rotation. Let me scoop it back a couple scans here. See there, just south of Glenville is a little more significant, and then as it's approached Glenville, gotten a little bit weaker. That's not to say the threat is diminished at all, but you folks in Glenville, almost right on top of you need to be in your safe spot. As I told you a few minutes ago, let's let this cell get north of Highway 310, and then we'll be able to clear you. But that rotation is going to be, there's a weak hook here. You can kind of see it hooking back to the south and southwest, so there's some, again, rotation right in here, and we'll see if it tightens up. Again, we're getting quickly into southeastern Tate County. Looks like it may avoid northwestern Lafayette County. However, you're really, really close there again, even over towards Harmontown. I still need you to watch this closely. Here's Harmontown. This is more so on a track through Glenville and through southeastern Tate County. And here's Marshall County. And then Holly Springs is up to the north. And at that point, we'll start focusing more on Marshall County once we get a better handle on exactly what direction is this. Is kind of straight northeast, is a little more east of northeast, that kind of thing. Let's see, kind of move into southeastern Tate County there and go from there. But if you're in Glenville, you're absolutely in your safe spot now. And again, that tornado warning, I know your phone's just blared anywhere from Panola County all the way up to northern Marshall County. I mean, this warning, one of the biggest tornado warnings I've seen lengthwise around here in a while, just because of how fast it's moving. It extends all the way up to Highway 72, so all the way through Marshall County. We're going to watch that cell closely. Jake, we haven't talked about our Tipton, it's Lauderdale County now. Tipton County, you've got nothing going on. You're out of your safe spot. You're good. We're going to watch for additional storms, but for now, your cell that was moving through Covington earlier, let's see where that is rotation-wise. It's up near Gates now. Velocity looks to be less significant. Still some broad rotation there. I'm going to roll it back about 15, 20 minutes and just see what this did. Yeah, I mean, we had some significant wind there roll through Covington. Some broad rotation roll through Ripley. Looks like we have maybe have avoided a pretty serious situation there in Ripley, so that's good news. We would appreciate any damage reports if you have them there in the Ripley area. If anything came down, a tree, even fence blew over, whatever it is, there's obviously some wind, but looks like the rotation wasn't as significant as it moved through central Lauderdale County. That tornado warning is still ongoing, and I believe that was until, is it 5? 4:30, let me pull it up right now. 4:45. So they'll probably, this is almost out of the warned area. So here is the warning information. Again, it was going up to basically the Dyer County line. I know it has kind of that angle to it where it clips southwestern Dyer County, but it's cut off here. Here's the storm. We're quickly approaching the end of the warned area, and it will be out of the warned area before 4:45 when the warning was issued until. So they'll either decide to expand the warning north, which would include Dyersburg and points east of Dyersburg, or they'll just let this run out. They'll let the storm run through the rest of the warned area and won't continue the warning, or they'll cancel it. We'll update you on that as soon as they have a resolution on what exactly they're going to do with that. Doesn't look like anything in the chat, Jake.
No.
About what they plan on doing with that particular cell right now.
They did drop the confirmed tag on the Madison County tornado warning.
That's good. So going with your analysis there.
Right.
Yep.
So as we were analyzing the data, it looked like there was a brief touchdown that may have produced a little damage. It could have just been trees. You know, we'll figure that out later on down the road. But the tornado has lifted, but there's still rotation there on the southwest sides of the city of Jackson. In fact, it's already moved up to the northeast. So it's pretty much in Jackson city limits now. So if you're in Jackson, hopefully you're in your safe spot. If you're not there now, you need to be in your safe spot. Give it a few minutes. Again, the rotation itself is not incredibly tight, but it didn't look incredibly tight earlier either when it produced a tornado. So there's been reports of a wall cloud moving into the city of Jackson, so that could be a precursor of maybe another touchdown. So if you're in the city of Jackson, again, we need you in your safe spot right now, and just stay there until we can give you the all clear. Let's do a storm track on that area of rotation so we can alert folks down the road from this on where this is going. In fact, it's picked up a little bit of speed. It's now moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. So we're going to go from the area of rotation. We'll go a little out ahead of it, and we'll probably end up going a little out of our coverage area, but we'll still just let folks know. If you know anybody in these areas, this is where it's heading. The Hicksville area at 436, Claybrook at 450, Hickory Flat, Tennessee, 457, Jumbo by 505, and then Clarksburg, Tennessee by 510. So that's where the area of rotation is now. Again, moving into the city of Jackson as we speak. So stay in your safe spot. If you're down there towards Mercer, towards Bemis, you're kind of out of the area of concern now. Meaden as well. This is going to be from the city of Jackson up to the north and east. So we'll keep watching that, Tyler.
Quick update on Lauderdale County. We were just talking about what they would do with that warning. It's getting ready to move past the warned area. They're going to allow it to expire, which means they're not going to cancel it. 4:45, that warning was about 10 minutes. That warning will officially end. But essentially now you can say that the threat has ended from that cell moving through Lauderdale County. So where does that leave us right now? Where are we at area-wide? less severe thunderstorm warnings than we had an hour ago, less warnings overall than we had an hour ago. The warning in Madison County, again, we're not leaving you hanging there. That is not technically our viewing area, but again, as I've explained, we have sister station there, and we also have our coverage that we're giving to our friends here in the Mid-South and the Memphis market. They're receiving that as well, so we're going to give them some information as much as we can, but we're also going to focus as much as we can on our tornado warnings that are in our viewing area. With this expiring in Lauderdale County, we're going to leave that alone for now. Significant storm headed up into Dyer County. However, no longer tornado warned. They will allow that warning to expire. If that changes for some reason, we'll let you know. They'll issue a new tornado warning if they see any signs of new rotation popping up. So that
storm down in Mississippi is really picking up rotation.
That leaves us with this one. It's now getting into southeastern Tate County and southern portions of Marshall County, and it's going to be possibly a threat for Holly Springs, but maybe even more so just to the west of Holly Springs and maybe Byhalia. I mean, I'm looking at the motion from where it started. It is more of a, let's just run it back for a second. This is the cell we're referring to. Here's where it was when it was warned. Yeah, it's almost on a due northeasterly track. More of a threat likely for Holly Springs than it will be for Byhalia. Byhalia actually not even in the warning. Again, we're just looking for any deviation in track. Let's first look at where the area of concern is, and then we'll do a storm track on this for Holly Springs and points north. The rotation is certainly not more significant at all than it was a few scans ago. So again, this changes scan by scan, but there's no signs in the last 10 minutes of this getting any tighter, the rotation that is. It's a good thing, hoping it stays somewhat weaker, but it won't take much for this to just tighten up one scan. So we'll have to watch this closely. Looking at our debris product, it's a little messy here. It is concentrated in an area where we have velocity, but it's also just looking a little bit sketchy to me. So I'm not ready to say we have a confirmed tornado there yet or anything, and the National Weather Service isn't either. Okay, they expired it early. So they did cancel the Lauderdale County tornado warning, by the way. Just a little update on that. You're no longer in a warning there. Here's the rotation again. This isn't in an incredibly populated area right now. We'll get down in low. Excuse my pronunciation. Tiro. It's right over you. This is, Thyatira-Tiro Road. Coming into Tiro, and then here's Wyatt-Tiro Road. Southeastern Tate County. That's where we are right now. Not a ton of population, but there are some folks down here. We're really going to watch this as it moves into southwestern Marshall County. Here's Tullahoma. Here's Highway 4. This is going to track straight northeast. That's been its motion so far. New scan came in, maybe a little bit more tightening there just south of Wyatt. If you're in Wyatt, you're in your safe spot now. This will be east of Aiken likely. You're right near it if you're in Aiken, but anywhere east of Aiken in particular, along Highway 4 over to Tullahoma. So this spot, you need to be in your safe spot because this is coming right across Highway 4 as we speak. And it's moving so fast, it's likely already moved across Highway 4. So let's zoom out a little bit.
We still have many warnings.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know my mic was still on.
Your mic's always on, Jake.
You're right. It always is.
It'll be on a lot today.
Our lovely producers in the back.
Here's Mariana. Again, here's Highway 309. We're going to jump out ahead of this one a little bit. So let me put Holly Springs on the map just so you can see Holly Springs here. All right, so I have the circulation. I'm trying to fit it all on one screen and be as close as possible. So circulation's down here right along and just south of Highway 4 at the last scan. When the new scan comes in, it'll likely be right over Highway 4 just between Tullahoma and Aiken. It's on a northeasterly track. I'm gonna venture to say it's going to go right over Mariana, so you need to be in your safe spot there. It will likely move east of 309 at some point and then track towards 178 west of Holly Springs. At this moment, again, this could shift a little bit, but if it stays on this northeasterly track, it would go here, and here's Holly Springs. It would be just west of downtown Holly Springs, we'll say. Again, if it shifts any bit, it will go into Holly Springs. But for now, in Holly Springs, I'd say you're just watching this. You know exactly where you're going. You have that interior room idea away from windows, whether it's a closet or a bathroom. You're on the lowest level of your home. You know exactly where you're going. And as soon as I tell you, you go to your safe spot. For now, in Holly Springs, we're just watching and analyzing and just seeing exactly how this moves. But if you're west of Holly Springs, along Highway 178, you definitely need to be thinking about getting in your safe spot here shortly because of the direction that this is moving. Rotation's a little bit tighter. I'm going to see if that signature is there at all. Again, watching that same spot. Yeah, so we're starting to get a little bit of signature that there for lack of a better word, items in the atmosphere that are not raindrops, things that are not of common size. Could be a little bit of hail contamination. Let's see where the hail core is. But this is co-located kind of in the same spot where we had the rotation. The hail core was here at last scan. It's obviously following along with the storm. But I venture to say we may be starting to see leaves or sticks being lofted into the atmosphere high enough that the radar beam can go out and see them, and that's what that differentiation in color is on this particular product here. This is starting to identify as potential for some debris where Highway 309 meets up with Highway 4 in far southwestern Marshall County, south and west of Holly Springs. Look at the velocity data again. Watch that. It's right in here, same spot. So that's beginning to get a little bit more concerning. We're going to watch that one closely. If that debris potential there that we just looked at becomes a little more significant, they may go radar confirmed with this warning. And if they do, that would indicate that a tornado is ongoing. We're not at that point yet, but getting close. And this is one you got to respect there. If you are in central Marshall County, particularly between Holly Springs and Byhalia. So here's 178. You got I-22 that runs especially south of Holly Springs. Here's 311 running out of Holly Springs to the north. Here's the area of circulation that we're watching. Also potentially some debris being indicated there as well. And this is kind of on a northeasterly track, which would likely take it west of Holly Springs. Again, watching for any deviation there, you really have to be on guard from just east of Byhalia all the way to Holly Springs. And we'll just keep watching to see what kind of track it continues to take. Is it this or is it this, that kind of thing, and then we'll be able to specifically warn those spots. But Jake, do we have any other areas right now other than this with significant rotation or any? I don't see any new tornado warnings. We can stay with this as long as we need to if there's nothing else significant right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're still watching the Madison County storm. The rotation has kind of weakened on that one. I mean, there's arguably still kind of an area of weak broad rotation north of the city of Jackson. So we'll keep watching that. Again, if you're in Jackson, we still want you to stay in your safe spot. But this is cleared southwestern Madison County. The area of concern, again, is really just north of I-40 in Madison County in the city of Jackson. So really right in the area where all the restaurants and businesses are, just off of I-40 in Jackson. So hopefully you're in your safe spot there. We'll give it another few minutes. That should pass on by. It looks like there's even an area of weak rotation to the southwest. So this is kind of two cells in a way. There was the initial one here, another one's kind of building on the southwestern side of it. So we'll keep watching that one. That's northwest of Meaden, south of Huntersville. That will also move towards the city of Jackson. So definitely a good time to stay in your safe spot there. We'll update you on the Lauderdale County storm and Dyer County storm. Again, they're going to let this warning expire. And right now it's really, really weakened, which is good news. So you're still getting a lot of claps of thunder and strikes of lightning near Ripley, even up towards Dyersburg. The storm is just to your southeast, but that storm has weakened, it looks like, quite a bit. And we'll go to wind mode just to reiterate that. And again, not showing any strong areas of rotation. Still certainly some gusty winds perhaps up here to the east of Dyersburg, south of New Bern, Tennessee. Let's go back to radar real fast. So yeah, likely some strong winds, maybe even some small hail up here on the southeast sides of the city of Dyersburg, south of New Bern. But right now, we'll keep watching this storm for sure. If this thing tries to tighten up again west of Friendship, that would be the area it would. But right now we don't have clear signs of rotation with that. So good news there. Let's check on what we were talking about earlier in eastern Arkansas. That tornado warning that was in effect just west of Cross County, southwest of Poinsett County, that shower has almost completely diminished. It's weakened out quite a bit. So that's good news. Again, nothing really to watch right now to the west. Again, some cells popping up southwest of Forest City, but right now nothing overly active going on in eastern Arkansas. It's still this line with the cold front near Little Rock we're watching. And then, of course, everything is very busy going on right now in West Tennessee and North Mississippi.
So we've obviously had a very busy stretch for about 2 hours now. We're still in an environment that is significantly dangerous for tornadic development, and we're just watching each individual storm go up and analyzing them as we can, waiting for that any minute now. I'm watching that tornado warning up in, it's still in effect for some reason for Lauderdale County. That storm has moved away, but again, you're not in a threat in Lauderdale County. It will drop off the screen in the next 30 seconds. So really, I think the area we need to be focusing on now for at least the next 30 minutes, unless a new tornado warning pops up somewhere, we have to watch this cell that's coming into southern Tate County. Max is on this cell, Max Claypool and Storm Tracker 3, watching it for any lowerings. There's been some weak signs of rotation. It's in an environment, there's a little area of showers just south of it that maybe is trying to cut off some of the inflow, but it's in an environment that it could start to flourish as well and look similar to the one that's now in southwestern Marshall County, and we may get a new tornado warning. So suffice it to say, if you guys are in Hernando, anybody in Hernando, up to Horn Lake, through South Haven and Olive Branch, let's just watch this cell because it may tighten up a bit more and we may see something get developed from that. But the most area of concern right now is the one tornado warning that is officially in our viewing area. We know what's going on in Madison County, but this tornado warning in Marshall County, which does downstream include far northwestern Benton County. Again, we'll see what it's like when we get there. I think it's more of a threat along the western side of this tornado warning rather than the eastern side, but the warning is drawn like it is for a reason. So if you're anywhere there north and west of Ashland, let's just watch this for now. Immediate concern is going to be Holly Springs west. So here's Holly Springs west along 178. You have Red Banks in that area, Victoria, Mahone. Here's Hernando Road running west out of Holly Springs. If any of these spots that I'm saying are near your home, you need to be getting in your safe spot here very quickly because this circulation is coming very fast from the south. It's about to go over Marianna. I believe the speed on this is still 50 miles per hour. Let's look at some of the velocity data, just see where the spin is in the atmosphere. See if there's anything near Marianna there or just south. It's certainly still evident, but it's not strong either. That's a good thing. We don't want this to get any tighter. Still kind of right over Chulahoma, kind of between Chulahoma and Marianna maybe, kind of in this general spot. There's some rotation, maybe another little area here. It's broad but evident, still warrants the tornado warning. Okay, there's a new scan, so tighten up a little bit more. And you saw that shift there, Jake? Did you watch that when that refreshed? I'm not sure if you had your eyes on my screen. Watch this, how it was kind of south of Chulahoma, or right over Chulahoma, and then the new rotation in the last scan jumped straight almost east-northeast.
Yeah.
If you're in Holly Springs, if this is shifting course a little bit, again, think about you're driving on the road in your car, your steering wheel turns just a little bit, it's a minimal change, but 50 yards down the road, you're on the sidewalk. That's what happens here is a little change in deviation track here turns into this big of deviation down the road by the time it gets to Holly Springs. So we got to watch that very closely because it is tighter now right along Highway 4 between Chulahoma and Galena, and likely just north of there. And if that shift persists, then you in Holly Springs are very quickly needing to be in your safe spot here. I'm going to wait for one more scan to come in. But again, in Holly Springs, you're paying attention to what's going on. You're all eyes and ears on what we're saying right now. And you know exactly where your safe spot is. Everybody's awake. If the kids are napping, get them up from their nap. And everybody's ready to go in that safe spot immediately as soon as I tell you. Regardless, this is going to be crossing Highway 178 and I-22 somewhere in the next 15 minutes. It may be Holly Springs, it may be just west of you. We'll just have to watch how it evolves, but anywhere in these spots, you need to be in your safe spot. Even over towards Higdon, be thinking about where your safe spot as well. Again, the circulation itself is still down by Highway 4 west of Galena, just east of Chulahoma. Waiting for the next scan to come in. Let's see if there's anything on the debris signature there. Let's run it back. I know there's a ton of colors on the screen. We've talked about this in length a few times today, and we always do throughout our coverage. I'm not going to explain it every time just because it's a lengthy explanation, but suffice it to say, we're looking for debris in the atmosphere. There were more signs of it maybe a scan or two ago. Now, maybe it's gone away, but that's not to say anything is less dangerous. We'll just keep checking back on that product because that can help us confirm a tornado as well. A couple reports coming in, Jake. Just looking at...
We've got two areas of rotation in Madison County, too.
Okay.
One has left Jackson, another one coming into the city from the southwest.
Quick report on those, Jake. I'm going to wait for the next scan to come in here, and we'll come right back to the storm.
Yeah,
so
I'll toss it back to you in just a second.
You're good. Yep.
Just to update everybody in Jackson County that's watching, again, we talked about that first area of rotation that did drop a brief tornado southwest of the city. That's moved to the northern half of the county again, but if you're up towards the Medina area, this is going to miss Humboldt way to the east, but if you live up here, again, northeastern parts of Madison County, up towards the Medina area, definitely watch that storm. Area of rotation there, southwest of the city of Jackson. Another area of rotation coming in. And again, certainly rotating here, and this is going to take nearly the same track. So hopefully you're still in your safe spot in Jackson. We're going to watch this one as this tracks northeast. Again, yeah, let's go ahead and take a traffic camera in Jackson just to see what's going on there. We cannot confirm tornado debris right now. But even on reflectivity, you see how we're starting to see that hook developing. That's what we've been looking at with every one of these storms today. That looks kind of like what we saw move through Tipton County earlier. There's a live view in Jackson, Tennessee on I-40. Again, hard to see much of anything. There's a lot of folks on the road. We definitely do not want people on the road driving. Again, a car is the worst place to be in the event of a tornado. And this thing is wrapping up on the southwest sides of Jackson. I mean, Tyler, you can see on the reflectivity, you got a big hook there on the southwest sides of the city with increasing rotation is not a good thing. So if you're watching in Jackson, we don't want you on the road. We definitely want you in your safe spot right now as this continues to track northeast. Again, we're tracking this zone here. Red's coming into the greens, and yeah, it's moved pretty much right into the city now.
That's significant.
Yeah,
that may be confirmed again.
Yeah, so if you're in Jackson, safe spot right now.
Anywhere in Jackson.
Get into your safe spot, lowest floor of your home, away from windows, bathroom, closet. We'll give you the all clear, but this has really ramped up in the last couple of scans here, and we're concerned that that this could be dropping a tornado again at any moment in time. We've got eyes on it, so we'll let you know if this does drop anything, but man, this is coming right into Jackson, and we don't like to see that. So if you're in Jackson, Tennessee, safe spot right now, interior room, away from windows. Grab blankets, grab pillows, bike helmets, great tools to put on your head to protect you potentially from flying debris. We hope this does not touch down, but again, this looks like it's going to be in Jackson pretty much right now as we speak, and we'll go ahead and just track this downstream kind of in the same zone that the other ones have been going, the previous one. And just a heads up for those of you in the Hicksville area, I mean, Jackson, it's there now, and Hicksville. Hickory Flat at 512. It'll be towards Clarksburg, and then Hillard by about 525. So out of our coverage area, but if you know folks in these areas, please give them a call and make sure that they are certainly paying attention to this.
Yes, indeed. Jake, appreciate the update there. I know we got a lot of folks over in Madison County watching us on stream and through our sister station. So great report there on the Madison County storm. Want to focus, of course, we have two supercells now, and Max Claypool a little while ago was on this storm as it moved through like Crenshaw. Like 15 minutes ago, it's crossed a county and a half. It is in DeSoto County now. It is not tornado warned. However, just look at the amount of lightning on the cell that we've been tracking that is tornado warned approaching Holly Springs area. We'll get an update on that in just a second. And then the amount of lightning on this one, a sign of an intensifying storm, and it has an environment that's pretty isolated. I'm watching for some rotation to become a little bit more significant. We could get a tornado warning at any moment on this storm very near Hernando. So if you're in northern DeSoto County, Olive Branch over to South Haven in particular, just you're not going out to run errands right now. You're watching the TV and you're just waiting for this to get closer, and you're seeing if anything starts to develop with this because it's imminent. Something may start to spin up, and we'll watch that closely. We have to focus, though, on where we do have a tornado warning, and that is on the cell we've been watching in central Marshall County, now north of Marianna. It's got that hook to it, right? From Mahone kind of back to Marianna. The velocity data on this hasn't significantly tightened up. It's still kind of broad, but I've been watching some signs. If there is some rotation here, there definitely is rotation here, I should say, kind of right in here. It's not particularly tight, but it doesn't have to be for a tornado to be ongoing. We saw that with previous systems that we've dealt with over the last few weeks. I've been watching at times, though, some of the debris signatures may be popping up something. There's one near Marianna a second ago. It could have just been a blip, but it also is co-located pretty tight with where there was some significant circulation. So potentially maybe some debris being lofted into the atmosphere. It's gone at the latest scan. Watch it disappear. Boom, it's gone. But again, just a sign that something is ongoing there in central Marshall County. Let's go back to the velocity data for just a second. By my estimation, this would likely pass just west of Holly Springs. Let's go back a scan or two. I mean, Holly Springs goes up to like here anyways. It's a fairly large area. If you're on the west side of Holly Springs in particular, you need to be in your safe spot now. We need to let this pass through, and then we'll go from there. But the motion on this, gosh, tough to tell. It is almost east-northeast, and it's not real concentrated, so it's a little bit tough to track as well. Let's just say Holly Springs, you're in your safe spot now. Again, we talked about that, right? We knew where we were going. I was going to wait and tell you when you need to go. Let's go ahead and go. Holly Springs, you're all in your safe spot now. As far west as Red Banks, let's go in tight, and I'll give you a few more specific areas. Jake, would you draw up a new storm track for me, please, while I'm doing that for this particular storm going through Holly Springs?
Yeah.
So here's Hernando Road. All right, there's Holly Springs. Here's Highway 178 running out of Holly Springs. Here's Mahone, Highway 4, and then once you get north, you get up towards Mac along Highway 311. I'm going to clear for a second. I'm just going to go, see if we can get down low here. Hoping that color will disappear. Bear with me a second because I want to take the radar off the screen just so we can. Okay, almost there. Okay, now we can really see where our populations are. Okay, so here's Holly Springs, right? You got a ton of population in Holly Springs. You get west of town, neighborhoods, here's 178 running up towards Highway 4. Here's I-22, all with little subdivisions here along Highway 178. You get up towards Mahone. There's significant population in here. Again, this is very high resolution data exclusive to us, so you're not going to get this anywhere else. You can almost pick out your house. Here's Ruby Lane, right here, one little side street. Again, roads kind of populate on this as we get closer and closer. 5 Tower Lane, here's Highway 178. We're looking at areas just north of the interstate. If I'm mentioning any spot that sounds familiar to you, get in your safe spot. No, now, here's McAlexander Road that runs through Mahone. You have house. All these spots, you're in your safe spot now because this is going to pass near or just right over top of you. There's Mahone Station Road. Looks like a railroad track potentially there. Tough to pick out some of it. See the lightning bolts as well. Here's Highway 4, again, meeting up with Highway 178. Sunset Acres Road, there's a development there. You've got scattered land plots and houses all throughout this area, and then you started to get into the deeper population of Holly Springs. Downtown Holly Springs, kind of right in here, right? So if you're anywhere in downtown or just north or just west, that's definitely in your safe spot now. Maybe a little less concern east of town, but it's still very close. So everybody in Holly Springs, you need to be in your safe spot now. You see all your towns or all your names, your roads popping up on the map. Here's College Avenue, Elder Avenue. There's downtown Holly Springs, West Valley Avenue, Randall Drive right here, significant neighborhood. I'm going to go back to the radar now. Just want to give you some, again, high resolution mapping so you could pick out exactly the areas that we're talking about. So the update on this cell, it is west of Holly Springs. I know you're in your safe spot. I want you to stay there until this gets north of the interstate. It's going to go right over Mahone. Still not a confirmed tornado, and the rotation at times has looked weaker and then flared back up, but it's there. We have some broad rotation. Here's Holly Springs, just west of Holly Springs. Again, here's Mahone's kind of right in here. It went away for a second, but it's right in here. It's moving right over that area up towards Mac. Any of these spots, again, just west and north of Holly Springs, you all need to be in your safe spot now. It is likely just going to stay east of Red Banks. Here's Victoria, well east of that. It's going to go right over the interstate. Do we have any traffic cameras from MDOT? Anybody in the back that we could pull up along in this area at all around Holly Springs? Okay, so nothing around Holly Springs that we can use it. All right, you guys look at that. Let me know if we have anything. Look at our debris tracker for a second, just have anything there that's popping up.
I've got a storm track too whenever you want it.
Jake, let's go to you for fresh storm track. Thank you.
All right, so we've got a storm track on the storm cell that, again, Tyler's been talking about in Holly Springs. So we're going to go from where the area of circulation is. This is not when the rain gets to you, but where that area of spin is located. That puts it in Mac at 5 o'clock, Atway at 5:05, Early Grove 5:13 or 5:12. Michigan City at 5:18, Grand Junction at 5:24, and then Hickory Valley into western Tennessee at 5:33. Again, we're starting from where that area of spin is, and that's tracking northeast at 55 miles per hour.
Jake, appreciate it. Guys, repeat that to me about the camera. No camera, it's just south. We had nothing there. Here we go. Red Banks. Red Banks Road on I-22 direction here. So I'm guessing I-22 obviously is running left to right. That looks to me like it's probably a south view or a north view, but anyway, south of I-22 because that's looking north. Appreciate that. I don't know if that's going to give us much. Appreciate you guys looking that up. Rotation on this again is broad, significant. I'm not seeing anything on debris tracker right now that would indicate it's again, like we have a violent tornado or anything like that, but it is very close and something could certainly pop up at any second. We'll check back in. We'll wait for a new scan to come up. Let's go back to our cell that I mentioned earlier that was coming into southern DeSoto County. It's going to be this one now that is right along 269 between Lewisburg and I-55. Gosh, this thing is just racing. I mean, a second ago, it was like south of Hernando. It's moving highway speeds, really. I got a video a few minutes ago in Olive Branch of just ominous looking dark lowerings within this cell. Obviously a ton of rain. So here's Lewisburg. You guys have a history of tornadoes. You know that. Here's I-55. Here's 269. So now we're north of 269. It's got a hook on it. It's not very concentrated right now, or organized, I should say. You see how fast it just jumped to the north. There's a little bit of broad rotation. Again, this cell is not tornado warned. I understand that, but we're watching for any signs of rotation because it happens like that. It's so quick. We want to give you as much heads up as we can. All right, so now the National Weather Service is talking about this as well. Hernando, Mississippi storm circulator. It's not in Hernando anymore, really. I mean, this is north. There is some rotation near Hernando, but there's also rotation north of Hernando. They're looking at this as well. They're monitoring it. We'll let you know if a tornado warning comes out for either one of these cells. There are kind of two different cells here. This is just a little kind of dinky looking thing. We'll see what that does, because the rotation in that was like here. It doesn't make much sense structurally. So let's first, you folks in Hernando, just a nasty storm. There is some broad rotation, nothing imminent. I want to watch this one real close, Jake, as it approaches. Here's Goodman. You have Cedar View. Here's 305. Here's Olive Branch. This is on a northerly track. Again, not tornado warned, but very close. And we're going to give you a heads up, even if it's a minute extra that we can give you prior to a tornado warning potentially coming out. We want to be able to give that to you. So that's why I'm analyzing this closely right now. Broad rotation, but nothing, again, that's jumping out. If there was anything in this storm right now, it would be right here. So you got some wind moving again. I'm just taking a little scanner of where we're at here right now. There is some rotation, but it's very broad. Tough to say, Jake. I mean, it's not real pronounced right now.
It is broad.
Here's Church Road. Here's Pleasant Hill. If this tightens up at all, we'll see a tornado warning come out of it, but it just isn't there right now. So we'll watch that close. Again, nothing imminent out of that right now. It's past Lewisburg, not a threat. There is some rotation near Hernando as well. Nothing imminent as of right now. They're talking about Madison County again.
And I will say this too, just kind of look at the wide view of radar, Tyler. I'm sure you'll agree. The storm coverage is kind of lessening a bit.
It is.
Which isn't a good thing, because that means that the storms, because I think what we've been dealing with so far today are storms just developing too close to another. So they're interacting with each other. They're not able to fully tap into the moisture, the wind shear, the instability we've got today. And now that initial batch has rolled through, we are still seeing more cells popping up. And I'm concerned, like this one southeast of Pine Bluff, that's a lone cell. And we're just getting these individual cells continuing to pop up. So if anything can get going and sustain itself, it's going to go severe. And the fact that we don't have as much coverage around anymore is a little concerning. And then again, like you were just mentioning, Tyler, that one coming into DeSoto County, or well, it's in DeSoto County, but coming into Shelby County is also kind of by itself too. So we really gotta watch that one too.
Yeah. I mean,
very closely.
That wide view is very helpful. You can see that Jake had up, because you can see even like down towards Clarksdale, new little cells popping up. And the environment, despite having storms move through it, has had time to destabilize again, and we'll just see what comes of those. Tornado warning has been dropped. It appears it dropped off our screen for the storm that was west of Holly Springs that moved through Mahone a short time ago. I know as it moved through Mahone, we were really focused on that one. We jumped away to look at this one in DeSoto County. In the area of Mahone, again, west of Holly Springs, if you have any damage, please let us know. The storm is now moving away from you further north. They have canceled, I'm not seeing it in the chat officially, but I believe they've canceled the tornado warning that did go all the way up to the state line. It's no longer popping up in our system. I believe they've canceled it. Yeah, Jake, scroll up there.
Yeah, I was trying to find some info on it, but
no worries.
Nothing on it from the last 10 minutes. So
yeah, I believe it's canceled because again, our system updates very, very quickly with that stuff, and it's no longer on the map. There is still some rotation there. So if they did cancel it, I'd be a little surprised, but we'll go with it.
Maybe they let it ride through. Is that what they did? It was up until what, 5 o'clock, and then they just.
So it was allowed to expire.
Yeah, basically.
Fair enough. I mean, there is still a little rotation there. We're watching this one close. There's no longer a warning in effect for northern Marshall County for the time being. There could any moment be a new one issued, but the previous tornado warning has been allowed to expire. Holly Springs, you're in the clear. Over towards Mahone, you're in the clear. You can come out of your safe spot. We'll, of course, watch additional cells later on this evening, but you're in the clear right now. No longer a need to be in your safe spot there. But near Mac, definitely some rotation. We're going to watch that. Again, a new tornado warning could come out any moment on that. But anywhere in northern Marshall County, you're no longer in a tornado warning. Let's go over to DeSoto County for a second. I want to just get our bearings on where that stuff is, watching that cell. So it's up by Olive Branch now. Not tornado warning. You're not in a tornado warning in northern DeSoto County. But there is an ominous cell that has had some rotation that we've been tracking. Nasty rain. Let's see if we have any hail in that thing. It's right over Olive Branch right now, anywhere along Goodman. Let's go in tight. Here's Craft Road, right? All right, so there's a Kroger kind of right in here. Craft Road hooks up with 22. You go off to the east there, you got like Lowe's and Home Depot kind of in this section. There's really, really heavy rain. There's the Olive Branch, or that's Timber Trust Golf Course, I believe, right there. Here's downtown Olive Branch and off to the west. This is Cherokee Valley Golf Course right in here, so you kind of get your bearings of where you're at. Very heavy rain, no hail being picked up right now, so that's a great sign. But heavy rain, a lot of lightning. Severe thunderstorm warning ongoing. Let's look at the velocity data to kind of get our bearings on some wind speeds here. Most of the wind appears to be off to the north now and less wind in Olive Branch, but it did roll through Olive Branch. If I roll this back a few scans, this was about 8 minutes ago. All this wind rolled through north central DeSoto County along Goodman Road, kind of over, we'll say over to near like Chulahoma. Kind of this general area all had nasty winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour, and that core of wind, we'll go back to the current time, has now shifted up into Shelby County and is now approaching Germantown, some nasty winds. Let's see where the warning goes on this particular cell. Again, the area of rotation no longer a concern on that storm to me. It's gone, so that's good news. But all this weather is now coming into Germantown and Collierville, starting to rain heavily around Germantown. It's just about to be raining heavily if it's not already in Collierville. This is all severe warned, mostly for wind. When I look at the hail on this, there's almost nothing to speak of. So this is warned for wind approaching 60 to 70 miles per hour at times in a few select wind gusts. So I would kind of classify it as that garden variety severe thunderstorm warning. Nothing that's considerable damage or anything like that coming of this for the time being. We'll watch it, see if it flares up anymore. But even the wind speeds are not especially pronounced in here. Right along 385, you're probably getting some winds, I'm guessing 50 to 60. Let's check some of it. 54. So again, marginally severe, not a significant threat, certainly not a threat to any life or even really property at this moment. Again, some really gusty winds, nasty weather, rough thunderstorm. That about sums up what's coming into southeastern Shelby County, into Germantown and Collierville here any moment. So let's kind of reevaluate where we're at right here, Jake. I mean, we have no tornado warnings in effect.
And that storm's northeast of Jackson now, so Jackson's in the clear. North
Jackson, you're in the clear. We've been kind of periodically monitoring that for you just outside of our official viewing area. There's Jackson, there's Madison County. Still the storm kind of right on the edge there, but it's riding down I-40, and the area of threat is out of there. Jackson, hopefully not too much damage, because as it was rolling into Jackson, Jake, as we saw, I mean, it had a significant rotation and likely some debris as well, so we'll see what comes of that with any reports. So evaluating where we are right now, there's obviously a ton of weather off to our west. And Bruce, if you're listening, would you come back and check in with me in just a second? All right, so we got a ton of weather off to our west. This is all eventually going to roll through the Mid-South, and I say roll through the Mid-South. It may not, in fact, reach our eastern counties. It's going to be slowing down as it approaches us. It's going to be a broken line of storms, all with a severe threat. A less tornado threat, or less of a tornado threat than we have now by the time 8 p.m. to midnight rolls around and this is closer to us, but there will still be embedded spin-ups in this along this line as well. There'll also be damaging winds and hail potential, a significant severe threat, but perhaps less of a tornado threat. So that's the massive weather to roll in tonight, and it will slow down, as I said, and kind of stall and meander around all the way through the day tomorrow, and that's really when the flooding threat starts to ramp up. We've talked about the flooding risk that will come in the days to follow what we're dealing with now, and it's almost as significant of a threat as our severe threat today. generational rainfall, potentially catastrophic flooding in spots. And it looks like that will materialize. Somebody could easily get 12 inches of rain in the coming days all the way through Saturday. So that's what we'll start to transition to, but there'll also be some ongoing severe threats as we go through the next couple of days. Jake, I'm going to toss it over for you in a sec. Let's run through more on what's going through this stuff coming into eastern Shelby County, Germantown, Collierville. That's the only active warning we have right now. And you can come back to me in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, sounds good. So we've been in this now for what, 2 hours, and we've had numerous amounts of tornado warnings. Still ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings. In Memphis, we are dry, but on the eastern sides of Shelby County, you've got some really noisy weather, especially over Collierville and into Germantown. Right now, you're getting heavy rain, likely some hail. Also near South Haven, really just kind of more so east of Walls, some heavy rain right now extending down towards Olive Branch. And then that same cell that had rotation earlier on it has now weakened out in northern Marshall County, but still near Byhalia, north of Holly Springs, you've got some really nasty weather. So we can kind of deeper dive into this a little bit more. First of all, I'll let you know that this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for eastern Shelby, western Fayette, and northeastern DeSoto County goes until 5:45. So we'll be with this for the next 30 minutes or so. Again, Bartlett, Collierville, Germantown, Olive Branch included in that warning. We'll kind of let's loop the radar a bit and just kind of get an idea for the motion of it. This will be a close call for Bartlett. I mean, it's really mostly east of the city of Memphis. It does include the eastern sides of the 240 loop, but again, mostly an eastern Shelby County issue. That's where we're going to have the worst of the weather. A lot of lightning. We can kind of hear the rumbles of thunder here in downtown every now and then. We'll look at the hail zone just to see where we have the best potential for hail. And thankfully, nothing really pops out as anything too significant. Again, leave us a report if you can on what you're seeing in these areas. There's a little area of hail being picked up north of Olive Branch, kind of near and south of Germantown and Collierville, but looks like more small hail than anything. It doesn't jump out as, baseball size hail or anything of that nature. So that is certainly good news, but that's pretty much on Olive Branch as we speak. Those are the most intense storms that we have in the metro area right now, as those continue to race off northeast. So far, it's been very minimal damage done from what we can gather with these storms so far in the last 2 hours. But unfortunately, I think things are going to ramp up a bit more in the next couple of hours. Now that this leading batch has moved through, we've still got a very primed atmosphere for severe weather. And we've got additional storms popping up along the Delta, west of Forest City, and honestly, really concerned about this cell east of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, for nothing imminently, but likely down the road. This storm is on the southern extent of everything. It's got good structure to it. Again, here's Phillips County, Arkansas. Here's Clarksdale, Mississippi, so Coahoma County. And this is going to be kind of riding north and northeast, so could be an issue for our counties in eastern Arkansas later on down the road. St. Francis, Lee, Phillips County, we're watching that. The cold front is back to the west, now basically moving into Little Rock. And let's switch over to the Little Rock radar just to get a better view. And again, you can see it's a very messy line through here. But I'll tell you this, is that this side of the state of Arkansas, the western side, the severe weather ingredients weren't quite in place today. In our area, though, they are. So the question is going to be, and we'll be watching this closely on, how severe does this line get as it moves into a better environment for severe weather? More moisture, higher wind shear, a lot of instability. We'll see how this plays out for the next few hours. But, we're kind of just unfortunately in the early stages of this. It's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to be here with you through the night until this is over. And again, this just begins a long 4-day stretch of messy weather, severe weather, and as we've talked about, a significant flooding threat is going to exist, especially as we go through tonight and tomorrow, as rain will be, almost nonstop in some places for nearly 24 hours. We'll get a little bit of a break at times, but significant weather still heading our way for the next 4 days. Even as we get past this severe weather event tonight, we still have a risk for severe storms tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. It's really not going to be until early Sunday morning that things clear out and we're finally out of this nasty, just incredibly active weather pattern for sure. I'll go quickly to the tornado watch just to show you all again, if you've missed this earlier. I mean, no surprise, right? We're in a tornado watch until midnight. Again, for all of the mid-southwest Tennessee, North Mississippi, eastern Arkansas. that's again a particularly dangerous situation watch. So a high-end tornado watch, you could call it, where storms today again have the potential to be significant and intense. So we're watching everything very closely. For now, though, again, we've got storms in the area, but no active tornado warnings. Those have moved out. It's moved out of Madison County at this point. We're just watching a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings as we continue to watch everything develop, move through the metro over the next 30 minutes to an hour.
Jake, appreciate it. Reaching a little bit of a lull in thunderstorm activity temporarily, at least severe-wise. Obviously, one severe thunderstorm warning ongoing now that's really just for eastern Shelby County. We'll talk more about that storm coming up, but what we'll do here over the next 20 minutes or so is we'll start to mix in more of our reporters and our anchors as well and get some reports from out in the field about things that have been going on. A lot of reports of hail. Had a 1.75-inch hail report. That's golf ball size near Nesbitt. We're talking north of Hernando, near Lauder and 269 there. So that's some significantly large hail as well. Multifaceted system. Let's take a second now. Let's go to meteorologist Max Claypool out in Storm Tracker 3. He's been mostly across northwestern Mississippi tracking a lot of these cells. Max, what's the latest? Where are you? And what's kind of the plan here going forward as some of these new cells pop off down to your south and southwest?
Hey guys, so we're in Hernando right now. You know, these storms have sort of struggled across North Mississippi today. There was not one that went tornado warned, but really for the most part, we haven't really seen too much in terms of things that are visually interesting. Right now, we're basically looking at that cell in DeSoto County, which is in a severe weather. It's in a severe warning. I don't know if that's for the cell in front of it or that one, but it's really not that much to see. As you can see here, it's just sort of maybe a weak shelf cloud there, which is basically the type of cloud that forms when you have a line of storms. So that's basically what we have going on. I think the plan, Tyler, is going to be to move into eastern Arkansas and try to get some of those cells that are working their way up.
Plan there, Max, and you know some of that stuff starting to pop down towards Clarksdale as well. Looks like it'll ride the river. So eastern Arkansas has been fairly quiet for the last several hours. It's really been in northwest Mississippi and into western Tennessee, and now we're starting to see all these new cells. Jake mentioned this one just down near Pine Bluff. Looks pretty significant now. Could be one of those long track type dangerous storms that we've alluded to that will be possible. Max will be headed west into Arkansas. We'll get a new report as he's on the way and what he sees there throughout the evening. We're going to Shay. You guys want to go to Shay right now? Shay is over in Midtown. Shay Arthur. Shay, good afternoon. What do you got for us?
Hey, Tyler. Hey, Jake. Yeah, you guys have been talking all day about these high winds that we've been experiencing, and we're seeing it right here firsthand. We're here in Midtown. The power is out where we're at right here, right off Lamar and Cleveland. Take a look behind me here. A pretty significant work zone underway. But check this out. It's actually kind of been fascinating to watch. A tree fell on a power line, but then that was kind of a domino effect. It knocked out power poles and lines for multiple blocks here, and so again knocking the power out. They brought in some reinforcements, working to get it back. A tree's down. You can maybe hear that chainsaw there in the background whirring. So we have a whole lot going on here. Again, this is at Lamar and Cleveland. Obviously this area is blocked, and they've been out here for hours actually working on this, at least since 1 o'clock. So you can see it's a pretty big undertaking. All of these different agencies out here working together, MLGW, MPD, Public Works, of course. And that's kind of going to be the narrative here as we move through the next few days of all these different agencies working together. We talked to MPD about this. Take a listen about what they had to say. Okay, I guess we don't have that sound, but long story short, they're essentially saying that all these crews working together is so crucial, right? Because to get through these kind of situations, they have to work together to see this, and we're seeing that firsthand here. As you can see, all these crews coming together to get this tree up, get power back to this intersection. It's unclear when it will be back. We'll keep you posted, of course. Back to you guys.
Get that report. As you said, a lot of cooperating agencies today trying to do the best we can to keep things rolling. Obviously, traffic light and power are high priorities, and it's tough when you have ongoing storms and ongoing threats. So appreciate the folks out there doing that hard work. Let's go now to Raven Copeland. She is up in Tipton County, I believe. We had a strong storm move through Tipton County that was tornado warned up into Lauderdale County. Raven, any sort of damage up that way? What are you hearing from folks so far?
Well, we were actually in our car in Covington and we heard the tornado sirens. They went off a few times. We saw the rain. The rain was coming down. There was a lot of heavy downpours. We saw the lightning. We heard the thunder, and that went on for, I would say, about 30 minutes, and then it quickly died down. So right now it's been pretty calm. You know, the streets are wet, but it's been pretty calm right now. We haven't heard any sirens, haven't heard anything weather-wise. Now, I did speak to people from Covington who say these storm preps that they've been doing this week have honestly been pretty traumatizing because they're bringing back memories about a tornado that happened 2 years ago in the area. Okay, so yeah, we will be sure to continue to give you that Team 3 coverage on the weather. But like I said, Covington right now, the weather is pretty calm right now, but 30 minutes ago, I would say about an hour ago, there was some rain, there was some thunder, and there was some lightning. But for now, reporting live in Tipton County, for your news leader, Raven Copeland, WREG News Channel 3.
All right, Raven, appreciate it. Yeah, obviously a huge storm there earlier in the calm there in Tipton and Lauderdale County. You just saw it pop up on your screen. There's that red box. We're going to see a lot of those today. New tornado warning out now for southeastern Fayette County. It does include much of central and northern Hardeman County as well. Bolivar, you're included in this new warning. Jake, would you please get me a speed on that one as well, when you could just get a second?
Yeah, that one's going to be until 6:15. It's moving northeast at 50.
Moving northeast at 50 until 6:15. All right. Yep. So we still have this ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. None of this tornado producing. Right now we're focused on what's going out towards LaGrange right now. Again, southeastern Fayette County. It's going to be this cell right here. And you see the hook on it. I mean, you've seen that throughout. I mean, even this has a hook on it. Everything has a hook on it. And we'll get additional tornado warnings out towards Grand Junction, Hickory Valley as well. Northeast at 50. Let's give you a storm track, and we're going to take it all the way to Bolivar on this. Bear with me just a second. All right, here we go. We'll look at the velocity data in just a second. We'll take the leading edge of this storm. That's when it will basically start pouring rain. And then on the back side of this, let's say you're in Bolivar, move this out of the way. On the back side of this is where the tornado threat's going to be, more so in that hook. All right, so there you go, some arrival times. Bolivar's 5:41, it's 5:21 now, so it's 20 minutes, that's it. Middleburg, 5:34, Hickory Valley, right in here, so west central Hardeman County, 5:29. You have less than 10 minutes. And again, that's for the core of the storm here, which will likely have some heavy rain and hail in it. The circulation is you back on the tail end of this, which is just now coming into far southeastern Fayette County. So it may be a few minutes longer, a few minutes later for the circulation, the possible tornado to reach you, but we're just giving you as much lead time as we can. So it may be more than 10 minutes there if you're in Hickory Valley, but let's just say it's in 10 minutes because then you have plenty of time to get into your safe spot. Up towards Toon, which is north of Bolivar, 5:51. That's about 30 minutes from now. If you're in Pattersonville here in east central Fayette County, likely this will pass east of you. I know you're kind of included in the storm track there, 525, but I would say most of this is going to pass just to your east, at least the area of concern for tornado. Let's dive in, look at some of the velocity data, and pick out exactly where the problem spot is going to be within this, and it's pretty significant. Rotation is going to be south and west of Grand Junction by just a mile or two. It's not far off. Again, what we're looking at here is for rotation in the atmosphere. This is not raindrops. This is not reflectivity. We're not looking at that classic look on the radar that you usually see. This is, again, how winds are moving. So green is wind moving toward the radar site, which is up in Millington. The radar beam's coming out and shooting this storm. Red, wind moving away from the radar site. So you see how it gives us that rotation. And this is probably a little bit tighter than most of what we've seen so far today. There was a more significant rotation in Madison County, but other than that, this is the most concentrated, the most significant that I've seen on Storm Tracker 3S so far this afternoon. Also with that, again, I'm not to the point where I want to call this confirmed. We'll wait for the National Weather Service to officially do that as well. But this is our debris tracker. We're looking
there is a funnel cloud on that storm.
Is a funnel cloud spotted on that storm. So again, we're close, if not ongoing now, with a possible tornado there entering southeastern Fayette County, approaching LaGrange or very close to LaGrange, just west of Grand Junction now. If you're anywhere in Grand Junction or LaGrange, you're in your safe spot now, or anywhere up Highway 18 getting into western Hardeman County, you're in your safe spot. But that's concerning because that's identifying, again, the radar beam goes out, it looks at the size of objects in the atmosphere. If they're raindrops, typically they're of similar size, right? When you start to get these colors like this concentrated in a single spot that is close to where we're seeing rotation, and again, that's exactly what we have here, and there's a new scan that just came in, it's a sign that what's in the atmosphere has no commonality in its shape and size. Leaves, sticks, pieces of wood, tree limbs, shingles, anything that could be lofted high into the atmosphere that the radar beam could see, it may be a sign that we have some debris in the atmosphere lofted by a possible tornado right near LaGrange. So that's a bit concerning right now. We'll see if they decide to upgrade this to confirmed, but definitely something ongoing there, suspicious, right near LaGrange. Let's get you a fresh storm track again. This is going to be tracking northeast at 50. I'm going to take it all the way out to Bolivar again for you. It hasn't changed much since the last time we did this, but let's get you, again, some arrival times just so we're giving folks as much heads up downstream when they can expect this to arrive. If you're in Hickory Valley, 5:36, so 10 minutes. You need to be getting in your safe spot now. Middleburg shortly after that, 5:40. Bolivar, 5:48. Time now, 5:25. Again, these times may look a little bit different from what I just gave you, just because before we were tracking kind of more the leading edge of that storm and the possible tornadoes on the tail end of it in that hook. So these may be slightly different, but previously that was the arrival of the storm. This is the arrival of the possible tornado. So within the next 2 minutes, if you're in Hickory Valley and Middleburg, you're in your safe spot. If you're in Grand Junction or back towards LaGrange, right in here, it's on top of you, it's there, you're in your safe spot already. You can watch us on your cell phone. If you got your TV in the living room and your safe spot is down the hallway, you can't hear us, flip on your phone, go to WREG.com or the WREG News app. You can also go to Facebook. We'll have a live stream there as well, so you can hear us about what's going on. I'll let you know when you're out of this and you can come out of your safe spot. But for now, you're in your safe spot. You're hunkering down, most interior room of your home, away from windows. You're just trying to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Obviously, not a lot of us have basements here locally, so it's low level. You're not upstairs, you're downstairs. If you have a staircase, though, under that is a good spot. Bathroom, again, interior closet, away from windows, and just putting as many walls as possible between you and the outside. Those are the arrival times. We'll get you that back in just a second. Waiting for a fresh scan to come in on this just to see. I'm going to look at one product here, our shear product, Jake, just to see if that's...
Yeah, it's not showing too much.
Doesn't make any sense. So we'll just focus on velocity. Right now, some definite rotation there. Maybe more mid-level rotation for now, but certainly significant. Jake, let me know if anything comes in on the chat as an update on this particular cell, but certainly one of the more significant rotating cells that we've seen so far this afternoon. Right over top of LaGrange right now, right where 57 meets up over to Grand Junction along with Highway 18. Again, it's just west of there, right in here, right over LaGrange. Some concern for you folks, obviously, about what is ongoing right at this moment. You're in your safe spot, obviously, so you're not trying to look out the back window and see what's going on outside. But after this passes, if you can let us know in any way what you had there, and if you have any damage, we would appreciate the report. But for now, you're hunkered down. We're thinking about you folks. We're walking you with it every step of the way. Again, I wouldn't say that this is a definitive tornado on the ground. It's certainly close, man. When I look at the debris tracker, this is something you really got to pay attention to. Again, you're already in your safe spot and there's nothing much else you can do other than that. It's probably pretty loud outside near LaGrange. Again, let's go in close. This is going to be right near, here's LaGrange Road and 57. Small community, but a community nonetheless with a population there. I'm going to go in even tighter. Signs of possible debris into the atmosphere. There's certainly something there that we have to pay attention to. In this case, me listing off a bunch of streets here isn't going to help you much because it's the entire town that's under the threat for this. If you're in LaGrange, you're in your safe spot absolutely right now. If you're along Highway 57, almost all the way over to Grand Junction, even in Grand Junction, you're in your safe spot now. This is the area of concern. It doesn't take much for this to jump a little bit. This whole area here, it's on top of you now, and we're watching this again move off to the north and east at 50. I'll go back to our velocity product for a second. Looks like that's our fresh scan. Not as tight, but definite rotation, more mid-level rotation, I'd say. At any moment, this could drop again, just again because of the environment that we have this afternoon. Yeah, look at the hook on this thing, Jake. I mean, it looks like everything else that we've had. So again, what we have here, supercell thunderstorm. There's nothing south of here that's inhibiting the inflow. You have wind racing out of the south. Remember how gusty it's been today? We've had like 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts out of the south. inflow here is tremendous into this thunderstorm, feeding it warm, moist air that's getting sucked into the updraft, developing this thunderstorm, and then you have rain-cooled air way up in the top of the thunderstorm that kind of comes around the backside of this and lowers. Remember, cold air is more dense, right? It's going to drop down towards the ground. It comes out of the top and lowers around the backside of this. It drags in some of that precipitation, gives us that hook look to it, right? So you have that cool air, that rear flank downdraft as we talk about, that cool air kind of rotating down to the surface and hooking around, and at the same time, warm, moist air coming in from the south, and that's what we get some tornado potential kind of right in that hook. Again, that's why I said right over LaGrange. If there is anything ongoing, it's right over LaGrange right now and moving northeast, potentially right towards Hickory Valley. You would be up next in terms of more significant population. Right now, it looks like it will stay just west of you in Grand Junction. I don't want you coming out and trying to go outside right now. I want this to get north of Highway 57, far enough to where it's definitely not going to jump east all of a sudden. There it is. Fresh scan just came in. More of a hook. Let's look at the velocity on this, Jake. Any update from the National Weather Service on this yet?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. All right, so definite rotation in here. Again, it's still not like tight where I'd say we have like a violent tornado ongoing, but a possible tornado nonetheless. And that kind of combined with the fact that we've seen some debris possibly being lofted to the atmosphere. Again, we're close. Sometimes this gets a little bit garbled, or it's tough to definitively say that's what this is. But because it's located exactly, put my hand right here for a second. Just watch right there. Okay, and then we go back to velocity data. It's almost exactly co-located with our circulation. So we're close to possibly confirming this. We're not there yet, but there's definite rotation there. It's now north of LaGrange, north of Grand Junction, and moving northeast at 50. And again, look at the hook on this. Northeast this way, it's going to parallel Highway 18. We'll just have to watch if the motion deviates a little bit, maybe a little more east-northeast or a little bit more north-northeast. That will affect areas downstream. But if you're in Hickory Valley, here's Hickory Valley, north of the logo there. That's where you need to be in your safe spot now because of where this is headed. I would say in Grand Junction, give me another 2 minutes in your safe spot, and we'll definitively say that this is north and no longer a threat for you. The warning, again, goes all the way back down to like Michigan City here in northern. Is that Benton County? Should be Benton County. Yeah, so we're in northwestern Benton County. You're not in a threat here. I know the warning's still ongoing. They're just going to continue to trim this as we get a little bit further north. It takes them a minute. They're busy over there. It's a busy afternoon. You're not in a threat in northern Benton County. You're not in a threat anywhere south of Highway 57. It's areas now
to get another tornado warning.
New tornado warning coming up?
Southwest of Moscow.
Okay.
Southeast of Rossville.
So that's going to be this
one
cell.
Behind it.
All right, so gosh, this is unbelievable with every cell doing this. Okay, so new tornado warning is going to be coming out. It's not out yet. We'll wait for that to pop up. Jake, as soon as that pops up, let me know the speed on it. And I'm going to come over to you, so you get that set up with the new storm track in a second.
Okay.
We're going to stay with this one for a second until that warning pops up. This is significant. There's that new warning. We'll get an update from Jake in a second. That includes Williston and Somerville. If you're in Hickory Valley, you're in your safe spot right now. We're going to do one more storm track on this. And then we're going to go over to Jake for the info on the new tornado warning, and then we're just going to bounce back and forth between the two because we want to cover both as much as we can simultaneously, and that's the best way to do it. Let's look at the velocity data on this 1 second. North of Grand Junction, again, paralleling Highway 18, going to be on Hickory Valley here shortly. There, to me, there's a definite sign of some debris in the atmosphere. It doesn't necessarily mean it's hitting structures, but something. It could be very small. Leaves, twigs, a shingle or two, something right here co-located with our circulation, our rotation. See how it's in that exact same spot. Hickory Valley, you're in your safe spot. I'm going to do a fresh storm track, and we'll just do it off where the rotation is, and we'll take you up towards Bolivar right now, and then we'll check in with Jake on that new tornado warning that was just issued for Fayette County. Here's the arrival times. Bolivar 5:49, so it's a minute different. So good scan there, good arrival times on that. It's a minute different from the last time we did this. Bolivar 5:49, 15 minutes. Just say it's 10 if you're in Bolivar. Like 5 more minutes is all you got that I want you to take before you get in your safe spot because these are moving so fast. Hickory Valley, you're in your safe spot now. It's going to be on top of you in 2 minutes maximum. Middleburg 5:42. Middleburg's kind of right in between the two, 5:42, and then again Bolivar 5:49. Watching that one closely. Jake, let's go over to you and get the information on the new tornado warning and what areas that's affecting. We'll do a storm track on that as well.
All right, so this tornado warning is behind the cell that Tyler has been tracking, kind of in some of the same areas are going to be impacted. So there's the cell Tyler was just tracking, so that's southwest of Whiteville. This cell we're tracking is southwest of Moscow. This tornado warning goes for eastern Fayette County into western Hardeman County. It's kind of hard to see because of the way that these two tornado warning boxes kind of outline each other, but this warning box kind of stops right up here. So this one also includes Whiteville. So you're included in two warnings. But let's just kind of dissect it here. So Moscow here, there's the storm cell. Here's where the area of rotation is. It's tracking northeast at 40. That's going to put it in Moscow in the next few minutes. So if you're in Moscow, you're getting to your safe spot now. Williston, it'll be there by 5:49. Whiteville, 6:14. And then Meaden later on down the road, that's going to be about 6:40. So this is your early heads up of where this storm is tracking. Now, remember, when we're tracking these tornado warnings, it's not the same as when we're tracking severe thunderstorm warnings. When we're tracking these tornado warnings, remember, we're not tracking the whole storm itself. We're tracking where the area of rotation is. So before you even get the rotation, you're going to get the rain, you're going to get the hail, and you're going to get some strong winds. But we're seeing a little bit of a hook signature southwest of Moscow, so that's a little concerning. So let's go a little deeper dive in here. And you're likely getting, if you're not getting hail in Moscow, you're likely getting just a torrential downpour there. The wind mode of the radar shows you, yeah, here's your area of rotation. Again, nothing very well defined, but you know, we've seen this lately where these signatures don't look all too significant and they produce tornadoes. So let's treat this as such. Again, this is going to move pretty much right over Moscow. If we could just kind of loop this back from the last few minutes, you see it's kind of taking that northeastward turn. This will be a close call as well for Grand Junction. Will likely be just to your west, but if I'm in Moscow, safe spot. Right now, we'll give you the all clear. Just don't take your chances with this, because again, these storms today have definitely the environment to be in to produce a tornado and to do it fast. So again, that's moving northeast at 40, and let's do one more storm track just to kind of show everybody where this is going. So we're going to go Moscow up to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. All right, so again, Pattersonville 5:49, Whiteville 6:13. So you're in two different tornado warnings. You've got the one to your south of Whiteville. This one's going to likely impact you most likely, and that's going to be heading up to the northeast very fast. So we're watching this circulation. Tyler's got the one up to the northeast, so we'll go back to him for an update on that one, and then we'll check back on this in just a few minutes.
Couple reports. Yeah, mic's on, guys. A couple reports of tennis ball size hail. You'll have to remind me where the first one was, but the second one was at the National Weather Service office in Cordova. The other one was in Tate County, again, tennis ball size hail. We know that's extremely significant. This is what is life-threatening right now, so we're going to do our best to jump over and cover those if we can, but we have to focus on these two tornado warnings ongoing. Just be aware that any cell out there now has the chance to produce significantly large hail, damaging hail, upwards of 2 inches. That's a possibility, but for now, 90% of the coverage you're going to have from us is going to be on these ongoing tornado warnings. So Jake just touched on the one that's near Moscow, tracking north and east. We're going to touch on the one that's over Hickory Valley. I mentioned earlier, if you're in Hickory Valley, you're in your safe spot now. It's on top of you now. I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can see it again. Rotation very, very evident and clear near or just west of Hickory Valley, paralleling Highway 18. Likely on this current track, it would just stay west of Bolivar. Again, I'm bouncing around between a couple of different products. One of our velocity products will take out the intense fast forward storm motion and just look at winds within the storm, so it helps clear it up just a little bit. That's what this is. Same area of rotation, again, just west of Hickory Valley. One check on just to see if the debris signature is still there that we saw earlier. It's kind of scattered, nothing extremely evident at the moment, so that's a good sign. This is, again, going to track straight northeast. We'll see. New scan's about to come in. We'll see if it's going to go looks like maybe just west of Middleburg, kind of between Newcastle and Middleburg, out of a northeasterly track. So we'll do a fresh storm track that way. I still want to include kind of a wide area. It looks like a fresh scan just came in there, potentially a little bit weaker with the circulation. Could be temporary. We're just looking for trends to see if it continues. Middleburg, 541, and that's all we're going to get populated on this right now. Let me adjust the storm track a smidge to include Bolivar, just so anywhere along Highway 64. If you're along Highway 64 west of Bolivar, take Bolivar's arrival time as your arrival time, because it's essentially the same thing. 549 still, so kind of right on the same dot with each one of our scans for arrival times. Within a minute or two, it's never changed for Bolivar. So 549, it's 539 now. So 10 minutes, it's going to be crossing Highway 64. The warning itself goes all the way up, I believe, like over into Madison County. Yeah, I mean, they took the warning all the way up to, I hate to say it, Jackson. You had almost a confirmed, looked like a confirmed tornado roll through like downtown Jackson up in Madison County about an hour ago. This could be a problem as well. It's a ways off, but this could be a problem for you. So that warning extends not all the way to Jackson, but into southern portions of Madison County. We'll watch it for you folks. Again, that's officially just out of our viewing area, but we have a lot of folks that watch us up there and a sister station carrying our coverage as well. So we're going to let you folks know what's headed your way as much as we can. As of right now, these two cells are the most significant thing we have ongoing. Obviously, there's large hail-producing storms elsewhere, one over in eastern and now northeastern almost Shelby County. That severe thunderstorm warning includes Lakeland and Arlington. I just want to look at the hail product on that for 1 second, just to give you a heads up. It's still not there, but there was a report of nearly tennis ball size hail further south in Cordova as this moved over the National Weather Service. There is some hail coming into Moscow right now, and there was also some hail on the storm that rolled through Clarksdale, and also a report of some large hail in Tate County. Just because of the tornado warnings, though, that's what our focus is again going to be on. I stressed that earlier. Jake, the lightning's down a bit on the cell in Fayette County, but it really just looks almost more prominent.
It does.
Let's look at the velocity data on both for a second. Very similar.
It's there, but nothing's really super tight. I mean, it's there.
Which is great. We don't want these to tighten up more. We're just kind of trying to analyze on the fly here what is more significant. I'd say there's about an equal threat in both of these, and this is just one moment in time. Again, next scan may come around and one of these tightens up. On a day like today, you can't take it with any chance. If we tell you need to get in your safe spot, that's because there's a significant threat moving through where you live. So Hickory Valley right now, you're in your safe spot. I want to wait another minute or two. Remember the arrival time along Highway 64, Highway 64, excuse me, just west of Bolivar. The arrival time was about 5:49, so it's 5:41. Let's just wait another scan or two, but I may be telling you folks along Highway 64, especially Bolivar West, you may be getting in your safe spot here shortly. Let's just see how this evolves, but regardless, within the next 2-3 minutes, I'm probably going to tell you to go there anyways, just because the threat exists, and that way you're there and safe until this passes, and I'll let you know when you're good to go. But right over Hickory Valley, now Middleburg, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Definite rotation there. It is somewhat weak. Some signs at times, especially further south, that this was producing some debris or at least something being lofted into the atmosphere. Again, could have just been leaves, but it was kind of concentrated with an area of the rotation as well. Looks almost more significant in terms of debris potential there north of Moscow. Let's look at some of that velocity. Again, it's going to be right in here. Potential velocity tightening up a little bit. We'll see. Again, some of this is a bit messy still as well, but two defined areas of circulation, one in western Hardeman County and one in south central Fayette County. This is going to be south of Williston, kind of on a northeasterly track. Both of these moving north and east. So along Highway 64 from Somerville to Bolivar, all eyes and ears on what's going on right now for the next 20 minutes until we get these north of Highway 64, and then we'll evaluate where we are and kind of go from there and warn areas further downstream. So Whiteville, you're watching both of these cells potentially, even though I think this one is more likely to pass off just to your east. Let's do a couple storm tracks, Jake. I'll do the first one, then we'll come back over to you. Hickory Valley and Middleburg. Let's give a fresh arrival time to areas further north. I'm going to try to include Bolivar on this one. Again, it's really Bolivar west. Middleburg, it's now there. Bolivar 5:51. So a few more minutes and it's going to be crossing Highway 64 there. I don't want to say everybody here go ahead and get in your safe spot, but if this holds together any longer, one more scan, you're going to be getting your safe spot there in Bolivar and west. Jake, go ahead and do the one over in Fayette County.
All right, so this one, again, it's kind of clear in Moscow now, so pretty much you're in the clear at this time. It's mostly to your northeast. Again, we don't have any confirmed reports that this ever touched the ground. We did see a report of some large hail in Moscow, so we know that has happened, but that rotation now is kind of moved to the northeast. But areas later on down the road from this area of rotation, it's kind of moving more to the northeast in this direction. So that's going to put it basically towards, let me see, move back off to the east just a little bit more. So Pattersonville by 547, so I would be my safe spot there for sure. Newcastle at 601, Whiteville, again, we've mentioned you the last few minutes, 611, and then over towards the Meaden area up to the northeast by 636. So we'll watch the progression of these storms. Again, the rotation is still there, but it's not super tightly compact. We'd be looking for bright greens and bright reds coming together, and they're both, it's there, but it's kind of broad, so that's good news. But Pattersonville, it's on you now, so hopefully you are in your safe spot. We can basically clear Moscow now. It's not going to impact Grand Junction. This is up to your northwest, but Pattersonville, Newcastle, up towards Whiteville, safe spot for the next 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll let you know when you can come out. Again, this will, as Tyler mentioned earlier, make its way up towards Madison County. So Meaden, you will be in line later down the road, and then potentially in the city of Jackson from one or both of these cells over the next hour. So we're tracking that for sure.
And the hook on that storm,
the
reflectivity,
look at that.
Yeah, it's
wrapping around. The rain is wrapping around the back end. So that's where your rotation is. Again, it's cleared Moscow, so it's to your north, but it's just so interesting, Tyler, to see so many storms today with such a really good structure. I mean, not great in sense of that it's producing severe weather, but this is, I mean, it's textbook type stuff right here. What you would see in a meteorology textbook for a supercell thunderstorm. Yeah. And we have not seen, at least so far today, many confirmed tornadoes, which is good. So we hope this keeps up. But, man, we got to keep watching all of these.
Fingers crossed.